Hey everyone, welcome to Stratele Studios. I'm Jeff Castanon, and today is Wednesday. We are back with another video from Ren, but this one is a special one. This is the song Suicide. And I read what Ren had written about his friend Joe, and that was really heartbreaking to read that. So I understand what this video is going to be about, and yeah. Nothing more to say than let's watch this together, and here we go.
Falling through the cracks of the night sky, a light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time, it never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. I'm so fucking lonely beneath this. Narcissistic, can't keep a secret. Miscount sheep, I can't sleep, a misfit. Some say trouble, but some say sadistic. Bruises my brother, one time or the other. My skin felt counterfeit, silicone rubber. Bruises my sister, skin pop the blister. Dig deep, resist the feeling when it hits you. Falling through the cracks of the night sky, a light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time, it never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Sick boy, bitten by a tech boy. I feel like it's not me, it's the world that's sick. I'm so fucking washed up and seasick. Masochistic kid with a split lip. 6 feet deep, I can't eat, I'm nervous. Won't stay down cause my body purges. Useless my mother, can't keep in my supper. Skin so pale cause my cheeks leak colour. Truth is my father, you choose your karma. Draw for the sword, then drive through the armour. Falling through the cracks of the night sky, a light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time, it never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide.
It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside a trunk, inside a pickup truck, then dumped the whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped. I think about that sometimes, vividly. What it felt like to look down and see tranquility. One sudden movement in a world of possibility. Only one movement to expose our fragility. I fucking miss you, and I miss myself. I miss thinking we were indestructible as well. I miss chilling by the pier cave and kicking back with Callum, Hugo, Sager, Justin, Stevie and the fucking lads. I miss missing that. I numb myself to close the gap. I never even call them up. The distance is my plastic ass. The truth is that the day you jumped, my childhood jumped too. But I still can't find that anger. All I find is missing you, man, I miss you. With all my rhymes, I picture running 5 minutes quicker, I'm right on time. I picture pulling you back over the edge and then we're crying, and holding you, my brother, and telling you that it's fine. Not the way that it worked, cause I was late like a jerk. There's not a day where I could find a way to break from the hurt. Your body missing, so we never got to wave to the hearse. I hope you're listening, I love you, man, I miss you absurd, fuck.
Man, that is painful. Let me comment on the latter side of this, which is how beautifully this is produced. the music in this just is so beautiful in a way where it is got this beat that is going through it that just kind of allows you just to keep propelling along into going forward and going forward and going forward in it. But the mood of it and what he's singing about is very heavy and impactful, and I appreciate the juxtaposition between those things, the dichotomy of having this almost a uplifting type of beat with it, with that heavy content, is really interesting. It's very clever to do it that way. Almost a feeling of, you know, life still goes on in spite of tragedy, and at least that's what I get out of it. Yeah, that bit at the end is really impactful. After reading what I read about his friend Joe, it's just a split second changes everything. And when I think about suicide, and, you know, if any of you have been in that place where you've considered it, you think that your current situation or whatever it is that brought you there is a constant and will remain that way without changing. And that's the lie of depression and anxiety, is that those things lie to you, and you're fooled into thinking that it can't change, that your circumstances can't change. And it's not true. Most things that you go through in life are temporary, and they do change, and it may take a while to change. But hanging in there through those tough times and just having faith that this can't be the way that it's going to be forever is the only thing that you have to hold on to. And yeah, it's really sad when somebody commits suicide because they've given in to that lie and they have no hope of things getting better, and then it's over. I had heard about a guy who jumped off of a bridge into water below, and it was a very, very big drop, and he survived it. And what he said was that he knew for sure he wanted to kill himself when he was on that bridge, and then the second he jumped off, he realized that it was a huge mistake, and he had already committed to it, and he remembers wanting to live in that moment. And then he hit the water and you know, broke his bones and everything, and then he washed up the shore, or somebody found him, and he was still alive, and then they took him to the hospital and he survived it. But it was interesting to hear him say that in that moment that he had committed to jumping, that he realized that it was a mistake. You know, that's what's so tragic about it. And I understand, you know, Ren's feeling about saying, if I only knew that you were that low and that you were considering something like this, then I would have told you I loved you and I would have given you a hug. I totally get that. I would feel the same way if I had a friend who was in that place too. Wow. Well, yeah, I know it took Ren, I believe he said it took him a while to finally get this finished and recorded and you know, to the point of completion. And it's understandable, because this is something that's very painful, very difficult to sit in. So wow, that was really heavy. But something good to think about too, as far as you know, awareness is concerned, you know, and being aware of that when people are struggling, and if you're struggling also. So, wow. Well, join me again next Wednesday, and we will continue our journey. Bye.
Falling through the cracks of the night sky, a light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide.